Hey guys, what is up? I am TitoTheOG, and today I'm here with the Wave 2 Jakks Pacific Sonic the Hedgehog 3 5-inch action figures, and boy, do we have some figures with us here today. Now, before we get in, I'm just going to say I wasn't able to find the Wave 2 Shadow with the, gritting his teeth, so I'm just going to have standard 5-inch Shadow as a stand-in, because they're basically engineered the same exact way. They just have a slightly different mouth, and then the eyes cutoff isn't as prominent in the Wave 2 release, which I'll get into later. Now in Wave 2, aside from Shadow, there's also Supersonic, Chao Mascot Tails, and a single release 5-inch Knuckles. Now, I already talked about the Knuckles figure in my 4-pack unboxing video. If you haven't checked that out, be sure to check it out right now before you watch this video, where I dive into how I feel about this figure. And the one figure I'm mostly excited about here in this wave is, of course, Supersonic, because the only other movie Supersonic figure we have is the 4-inch movie 2 one, and I have my gripes with him, but I'm really digging this guy in box. But first, let's go ahead and just unbox Chao Mascot Tails. We gotta save the best for last, you know? I was actually able to get these figures thanks to a very generous person in my Discord server named Siloop. Thank you so much to him. He was very generous and, shipped me these guys before the Amazon order was even fulfilled. So if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be making this video. So thank you, Siloop. Now here is Chao Mascot Tails, and this is a very interesting figure. I don't know how I feel about it. It's cool because it's a Chao, but it's like, why would this be like an individual 5-inch figure? Like this line has so much potential with the massive amounts of articulation. And for this to be a figure is just so weird, especially since we already have a Tails variant being the Angry Tails from the 4-pack. So it's interesting, but I mean, I dig it. Let's turn them around. Let's see what the box says. Sometimes being a genius means sporting a mascot costume from your favorite Japanese cafe. Now that is correct. He is definitely sporting that Chao hat. 20 points of articulation, as we already know, and then there's also the other characters from the wave: Gritting T, Shadow, Knuckles, and Supersonic. And not much else to say about this guy, but let's just rip him open. I have a love-hate relationship with how they package these things. Sometimes they have these little ties on them, so I'll need to get like something to cut them open, and sometimes they don't, which is so much easier for me and everyone else because you could just pull them out of the box. Alright, here is Chao Mascot Tails out of the box, and I'm being honest, I thought he was going to be a lot more top heavy than he really is. The Chao head it's like extremely hollow, so it's very light, but he won't be able to stand unless you like use his tails to prop him up. So like if I move his tails up, or you know what, I'm such a liar. I'm sorry guys for lying to you. He actually can stand up without his tails, so that's really good to know. He has the same exact articulation as the standard Tails releases. He's got his butterfly joints, his articulated fingers, and then he's got his ankle movement. He's got the ankle swivel side to side. He is the same exact thing as the other two Tails variants they've released, just with a Chao head. And the Chao head rotates full 360, and you can even tilt it up and down. The thing I'm curious though is how it goes on, because it looks like it's just attached by a ball. So if I'm able to pull it, it should pop off. Whoa. I heard something in here. I heard some cracking. Kind of scared too, but I want to try it. Yeah, you could see there it's definitely on a ball joint, so I can get it off if I were to use like hot water or something. There's not really much else to say about this guy. Let me just get the other two released Tails figures to compare them to. Now here are the 3 different Tails variants that we have for movie 3, and it's actually so weird that we have so many different versions of Tails, considering in both movie 1 well, really only 2, he didn't really do anything in Sonic 2. He was just kind of there. And for Sonic 3, I mean, maybe he'll have an even bigger role. We'll see. But it's interesting that we've gotten 2 or 3 Tails variants already, and only 2 movie Sonics, with the light up one and then the standard one. So I would like to see some other variants of maybe like Knuckles with a cowboy hat, or movie Sonic with a closed mouth. Before we get into anything, yes, I have seen that leak going around with the 5-inch movie Sonic with a closed smiling mouth. I am unsure as to whether that's a custom or if that's official, because it is very easy to swap the muzzles out from the Supersonic and from the light up Sonic onto this guy. You can see there's a seam line there. So they come off. So before anyone says that, I've seen it. Another detail I've noticed between the tails is, as you can see, the first release has gray soles, and then the most recent two have black soles. I talked about this also in my 4-pack review, that they switched to the black soles, which is a little bit more screen accurate, but it's also a little bit inaccurate because in the movie they're like a dark gray, and the black is very, you know, it's very harsh compared to how it looks on screen. Okay, now to move to Supersonic. All right, now here is movie 3 Supersonic, and I have to say, this is the one I was really excited for. He looks very awesome in box, and I just really love his facial expression, the color, and everything. So I'm excited to open him up and pose him. His description says, Supersonic is the ultimate form for Sonic. In this state, his power is unmatched. Or is it? Now, what is that alluding to? Is that alluding to Super Shadow being his opponent? Or is it alluding to Eggman? We may never know. Now, there's also not much else to look at on the box, so let's go ahead and rip him open. See, here's what I was talking about. Supersonic doesn't have any of the little straps holding his arms together or anything. He's just there where I can pop him out. I like that a lot more. Now, here is Supersonic out of the box, and whoa boy. He is very good. Just like this standing pose alone, he looks sick. Now, like turning this guy around, this is easily, without a doubt, my favorite movie figure already, movie 3 figure. He is even better than Shadow, and Shadow is, or was, my favorite. Like, look at the posing. I think the reason why this guy is so good is not only because the paint is more accurate, but these toe joints, or these ankle articulation. Since I can move his ankles down, I can put him into a much better flying pose than if they were to just be limited to being straight. Cause man dude, this guy, you guys need him. Another thing I'm noticing is, like, if you look at the paint, I don't know how well this is caught up on camera, there's like a glittery sheen to it. I saw it here on his arm right here. I don't know if you can see it on camera. Let me maybe lower the exposure. I don't know if you can see it there, but dude, he is awesome. And the one thing I was worried about with this guy were his eyes, and if the cutoff was gonna be like like Shadows, but you can see there's not as big of a gap between the eyes and his brows. So there's a slight cutoff there, but you can't really see it just because there's such a smaller gap, which that is how, according to some sources I have who have the figure, is how the Wave 2 Shadow figure is. So he does have the cutoff, yes, but it is not as visible, and it just looks a lot better overall. So if someone has the movie 2, or if someone is deciding on whether to get the movie Wave 2 Shadow figure, definitely pick it up. Now, everything on this guy is the same exact articulation-wise as movie Sonic. You know, you got the torso swivel, his head can look up and down, except he can look up and down a lot more, I believe. Yeah, he can. I think the way, let me get regular movie Sonic. Yeah, the way they made his muzzle and, you know, the upwards quills, they make it a lot easier for him to look upwards compared to the standard release. And it's great. The range is amazing. And that closed mouth is great. I don't know why movie Sonic can't just close his mouth. We'd all be a lot happier if he could. This makes me really excited to see what this guy looks like next to the movie 3 Super Shadow figure, and which has been leaked already. So if you haven't seen my video talking about the Wave 3 figures, also go check that out. One thing I would really love to see, though, is the same way we got the movie 2, or sorry, the same way we got the movie 3 light up pack, I would love a light up Supersonic figure, and then eventually a light up Super Shadow figure. Like a 2-pack of them lighting up, that would be so cool. I can't stop posing this guy, man. He looks awesome in the flying poses. I am noticing some paint rubbing on the joint right there. That's not too big of an issue though, but man, you guys need to get your hands on him ASAP. Now here is the movie 3 figure compared to the movie 2 Supersonic figure. And wow, the movie 2 Supersonic figure was my favorite movie figure. But now getting this guy, it made me realize how inaccurate the movie 2 figure was. Of course, yeah, we know about the weird yellowish skin tone they used, which really made it hard to differentiate the muzzle from the actual yellow on his body. And then he's got some slim legs, the quills are all wrong, and like seeing him next to him, like this guy blows him out of the water. Like the quills look very good on this guy, and you know, the skin tone, I think the skin tone alone makes a huge difference. And of course, the posability and the lenticular eyes, like, I'm actually a fan of how they look on this guy. So this movie 3 Supersonic figure is the best of the best. Well, that was it for this unboxing video of the Wave 2 Sonic 3 action figures. Now, I'm sorry I wasn't able to get Shadow in there for you guys, but I'll try and hopefully pick him up soon. This was a pretty good wave. My only issue is with the Chao Mascot Tails. It's such a weird addition, and I'm always open to interesting characters, but I mean, I have no attachment to this guy at all. I mean, the movie 3 isn't even out yet, so we have no idea the context or anything. So I guess only time will tell, and maybe when the movie's out, I'll open up to him a little bit more. Let me know which figure is your favorite out of this wave, and what figures you would like to see in future waves. Good luck hunting, everyone. I am TitoTheOG, and I will see you guys next time.